we have an interesting thing. We have the host of the podcast, the Homance Chronicles, but they're going to tell a story, the two hosts, but kind of break it off. So first we have Sarah A.
Hello. Hi. I feel like, Alex, your calling is motivational speaking at this point. Try it out. You never know. Before I start, I just want to take a moment for all the women in Alabama and Georgia. Just those poor women. I had to bring it up, sorry. Okay, so Nicole, yeah. Nicole and I have a podcast together, as she just said, and we like to chronicle the crazy shit that happens to us. And this story is a two-parter. You'll notice that I'm the one that tells the stuff, and then Nicole tells it correctly, so that's why she's going after me. Our story starts with me becoming friends with my chiropractor. It's fine, she's roughly my age, and it was her birthday. So my friend Nicole and I decided we were gonna go get our nails done and take the night and make a night of it. Nicole hates meeting new people that she doesn't know especially, but she was going with it, so I was cool with it. We were downtown getting our nails done, and we noticed that people in Royal Oak were walking around in like Santa-related costumes and outfits, and we were like, what the fuck is going on? This is so weird. We dismissed it, went home, got ready, ended up going out to a place that's in downtown Royal Oak, super trendy and fancy. We walked in, and I knew nobody at the table. There were two females, my friend, the chiropractor, her maybe gay friend, who was also a chiropractor, and then her and I. So we all introduced ourselves, we started drinking and talking and having a good time. And she was mentioning that a couple of her friends were supposed to show up a little bit later, whatever. We order our dinner, and as our dinner is arriving, a group of men walk in, and I look at Nicole and I watch her zero in on one of them and decide he was the one. And I was like, here we go. So we're sitting at the table, and the server comes up and she starts to call off the food that she's got to see whose is whose. And I yelled, that one's so-and-so, that one's mine, loud. I'm loud human in general. And one of the guys that showed up decided that he needed to tell me to be quiet like a church mouse. That didn't go over very well. So I laid into him, the whole table was silent, nobody knew each other. Very awkward, but we got through it. Gin, tequila for the win, am I right? Makes everything better. We continued to talk, he continued to feel like he needed to apologize to me, and I was like, don't even, no. Gave you a chance, you're done. In the meantime, Nicole's chatting it up with one of these caramel fellows, really enjoying her time with him. And I was talking to a guy that was sitting next to her, and I was talking over her. So once she was done eating, she goes, would you like to fucking move closer to him? And I was like, probably. She went to the bathroom, we exchanged seats, she came back, and she ended up sitting next to the man that she made fuck eyes at. And I was like, get it, girl. We finished up dinner, we decided it was time to go to a new bar. So we end up leaving that bar after we figured out our tab, and we walked to the next place. And I sort of watched everybody kind of sort of pair up. And one of my coworker friends showed up. And she had just come from a wedding, so she had tennis shoes and a really fancy dress on. And I was like, oh, my friend's here. I'm going to talk to her and hang out. And in the meantime, watch Nicole kind of latch onto this guy. And I'm thinking, she's going to take him home tonight. This is excellent. Thus, the Homance Chronicles. And we get to the bar. We start talking. We end up finding a place to sit. We end up being able to order drinks. I'm listening to them chit-chat, and I'm figuring, wow, this is actually really going to work out. Meantime, I made up with the guy I yelled at before because it wasn't worth it. And so that was my about face. It was like giving him a second chance. he was still a terrible person. It didn't matter. I should have never done that, but I did. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the guy that Nicole's talking to was like, well, see you guys later. And he completely dipped. Yeah. I was like, he's coming home tonight. He's the one. Nope. He completely disappeared on us. And we had no idea where he went. I find out later that they had gone to the Santa crawl. Apparently there was the Santa crawl, pub crawl, whatever, downtown where I live. And they had been drinking all day, and he disappeared for a little bit so that he could go barf, go to a different bar, take a shot, and then make it back. So I'm not sure if he needed to leave because he wasn't feeling well, but he left and left Nicole high and dry. That's where my part of the story ends. So thank you. And you can welcome Nicole Bonneville up to the stage for the second part.
I wrote this really funny thing for Patty to say to introduce me, and then Sarah just
Well, say your fucking self then.
I said, I know, I was like, I wanted Patty to say, now we welcome the better half.
Well, it's true.
Technically, everything that Sarah said was correct, so I don't have anything that I need to edit, surprisingly. However, I will give you guys a couple of extra details. First of all, it wasn't about face for me to even go out with her and meet new people and like pretend that I wanted to be friends with her chiropractor. I honestly was just tired of hearing my therapist tell me that I need to expand my social circle. And so I thought, well, I'd make my therapist really happy because she's tired of hearing me complain about dating in your 30s. And so, I mean, dating's hard, guys. Just putting it out there. I don't know if you know this, but you know, she mentioned that I may have zeroed in on this guy. That could be true or false. I mean,
It's true.
It's possible.
100% true.
It's possible. Sometimes, you know, you get thirsty, a little thirsty AF, and you see something that you like, and you're just like, you know what? Tonight's the night. And I will mention though that this guy was almost 10 years younger than me, and so I was like, I can't take him seriously. And then I found out that yeah, he had been like pub crawling all day, went and barfed and whatever. And so it did change my opinion slightly, but I still was a little bummed that he just like left. Didn't even ask for like my phone number or anything. We were playing games at the second bar at the table. And so there were 4 of us actually kind of all interacting together. I was like, man, we're having a surprisingly good time. My therapist is going to be so proud. And so then we were like, okay, it's about 12:30. Either this is when you decide, I'm going to go home, or we're in it to win it. We were in it to win it, and that is our normal go-to. Hence why we have a podcast where we tell stories about it, because that's like every time. It's true. So we left that bar and we're walking to another bar. We had another friend pop up, just met him on the sidewalk, you know? And we're all standing in line. So we actually went back to the original restaurant, but then had to go downstairs into the actual bar. So now we're waiting in line with these dudes who were like in their mid to late 20s. And, you know, I'm in my mid-30s, and I'm waiting in line to go to a basement bar. But that didn't change my tone for the evening. I was like, man, okay, well, what are we gonna do? And then this is where the about-face moment happened. One of the other gentlemen who had been part of the dinner party, who had shown up, stood next to me in line. And pretty much as soon as he spoke, I was like, oh, okay, you're it. You're it now. And just to describe him very quickly, roughly, I don't know, 6'3". He's from Arkansas, but he spent time in Australia, so he had this weird twang. And he had cowboy boots on, and so we'll refer to him as Cowboy Casanova from here on out. Him and I have a connection, if you will, and then go down into the bar. We finally made it downstairs, and we were like, oh wow, we both like gin. So he ordered 700 gin and tonics with the worst gin possible, and I had been drinking tequila up until that point. And then we were all hanging out of our jackets because it's winter, and he's like, well, what should we do? And I said, I don't know, there's a booth over there. He goes and rents a VIP booth, and so we're like, okay, come. And we go in there, hang out, and then everybody's like searching for waters, but they're all gin and tonics. So we're like, oh man, we're gonna be hammered. And then he orders a bottle of champagne, because I was just like, yeah, let's do it. And then I found out later that all the dudes were also taking ecstasy. It was a lot, I know, it was a lot, but it was such a great time. And so we're dancing, sweating, he's, speaking to me in his twangy accent. And then this other guy walks up who I had matched with on an app previously, and he kept asking me out, and I kept turning him down. And he made eyes with me, and then texted me while I was standing there with Cowboy. And so I didn't obviously respond. And then at one point I ducked away, and it was like 2 a.m. and I was like, I'm here with somebody else. I mean, is that really true? That's not even that's true. At that point, when the bar was closing down, we decided this party's not over. We gotta go back to my house. We all pile into 2 different Ubers, go back to my house. At this point, everyone's paired up. We have a little bit of a disaster in the bathroom with one of the girls. There's these rubber balls flying around my house. There's people, I have a chalkboard wall, there's people drawing dicks on the chalkboard wall. And obviously, that's the only choice. And so then we're all hanging out, partying, everybody's having a good time, and Cowboy's just sitting on a bar stool. And, he's like a big guy, right? So his legs aren't really together. I just walk right in between them and started making out with him, no regard for anyone else. It's my house, fuck you. So, right? So then that's where Sarah's like, okay, here's an about face. I'm gonna be the grown-up. And everybody, let's go. Okay, my hoe's gonna get it in, so we gotta go. And then I ended up having, 3 couples stay the night at my house. Him and I had a great time. And then that turned into, thank you. I appreciate the applause. I mean, especially as Sarah mentioned, states taking away rights. I'm just out here fucking at whoever. And honestly, I need all the rights I can get. So it's turned into now a couple of times that him and I have hung out. It's been glorious every time. I don't regret any of it. It was an amazing evening. I mean, I'm not friends with any of those people, but my therapist is proud.
Dicks being drawn on the chalkboards. This guy goes,
You have to.
yeah, I mean, I don't.